The Real Estate Council's Associate Leadership Council program takes driven young professionals and pairs them with proven TREC leadership to create lasting change for the city of Dallas.
TREC, their prominence within the real estate community is second to none. And the team that Linda has is phenomenal, it's a pleasure just even knowing them, let alone getting a chance to work with them.
From the application process, it's just kind of like rush with a bunch of people that are 6'5" in black suits. At least for me, I mean, I was pretty much a stranger with everybody until the retreat.
The retreat, you have 30 individuals that know of each other but haven't really spent any time. And throughout the weekend, they finally start to kind of get to know each other from a personal relationship.
Class Chair Eric Gilbert and Co-Chair Rob Bennett led their class of 30 on a retreat and then onto a series of class days designed to teach about all aspects of community leadership.
The ALC program has really given me an opportunity to look behind the curtain, whether it's the government, whether it's the healthcare systems and the educational system, the various components that act within a city that oftentimes you don't think about in your day-to-day existence.
The heart of an ALC class year is the Community Service Project, and the 2011 Associate Leadership Council considered 3 choices: the Boys and Girls Club of East Dallas, the YMCA, and the Paul Quinn College We Over Me Farm.
It just hit us like a 2x4 when we started to look at all the projects. The only project that was really going to impact major facets of the community, health as far as food and nutrition, education, and just a better quality of life, was Paul Quinn.
In 1872, a group of African Methodist Episcopal preachers in Austin, Texas, formed Paul Quinn College and dedicated the institution to educating freed slaves and their children. As the college expanded, it moved from Austin to Waco and eventually to South Dallas in 1990.
We are one of the emerging national leaders in higher education, and we have earned that title by focusing on redefining the educational experience for students from under-resourced communities. Our mission is to take the students that we have and transform them into servant leaders. Our goal is to be 2,000 students. We are about 8 to 10 minutes south of downtown Dallas, and we are tackling all the tough problems that people seem to punt.
One of Paul Quinn's most defining programs is their We Over Me Farm, a completely organic produce operation built on an old football field. The farm ties into health and wellness education, the social entrepreneurship program, and helps to address the issue of South Dallas's food desert.
A food desert is typically described as any area that is in a low-income census tract or poverty-stricken area whereby there are no healthy food options available to the community. Oftentimes, area residents are left with no other options except for a fast food store on the corner or some heavily processed foods at a convenience store.
We are 5 miles from the nearest grocery store, full-service grocery store. And that grocery store isn't a Central Market, right? It's not a Whole Foods. How can that be, right? Those are 10 to 15-mile trips just to go get the kind of groceries that the people who work in Uptown take for granted.
Paul Quinn's initial grant request focused on the need for a greenhouse to begin growing crops year-round. But as the ALC class learned more about the We Over Me farm, the project began to expand, eventually tripling in size, scope, and cost.
Nobody in our class really had any farming experience whatsoever.
My favorite job on the farm was by far and away the blowtorch and the burning of the weeds. I may be in my 30s now, but I guess I'll always be a little kid inside.
We took down the bleachers. We redid the POS building. I can't tell you how many layers of paint we scraped off. I believe we got to the original color.
This point-of-sale structure will now be a place for the storage of crops in a new cooler that we procured.
It's quite intense. Sometimes I go down there and think I'm going to see these bleachers, and then they're gone. And then you walk out there and there's this open space, a field where we can expand the farm even more. And then to see the greenhouse construction kind of start from bottom up has been pretty cool,
When we opened the greenhouse, they told me that they were going to be able to grow another like 5,000 pounds worth of food. They were actually growing less than that on the farm itself.
My biggest need out on the farm was met with irrigation. With the drip irrigation, we'll be able to take care of all of our crops very easily versus stand out there like we did last summer with a hose.
As the months went by, Paul Quinn College's community garden became a true farm and the ALC class became a family.
I didn't quite expect to bond with my class as much as I have, and I expected to bond with them a lot. We've become very, very close, and I see friendships that I've made over the last 9 months, staying with me until I die.
It's like, not only are we a class, but we're now part of the Paul Quinn and the South Dallas community as a whole.
Finally, in April of 2012, it was time for President Sorrell and the Paul Quinn College staff to cut the ribbon and introduce the new and improved We Over Me farm.
Imagine what it would feel like to see a city build up all around you and to wonder, when is it your turn? To look at development ideas for the rejuvenation of Southern Dallas and to wonder, how come your neighborhood's not on that plan? What this says, what all of this says, what you say is once and for all to the Highland Hills community, you are important. We are with you. We are proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. And your problems are our problems, and together we will solve them. And on behalf of this community, I want to give you a big hand and ask you to give yourselves a hand.
It was a big day to show off everyone's hard work. I was amazed by the support, the people that came out, and I can't think of a better reason for us to be able to open the doors and welcome people than to celebrate such a big success of the greenhouse and what ALC has done with us.
The 2011 Associate Leadership Council proved to be a record-breaking team of 30 young real estate professionals. From organizing the first Flip Cup tournament in ALC history, to smashing the record for Fight Night raffle ticket sales, to redefining the concept of a service project, this class has left its mark on Trek and the greater Dallas community.
The ALC class will always be special to Paul Quinn College, right? Because there is no greater compliment in the Quinnite Nation than to be told you left this place better than you found it. And perhaps the best way I can sum up the ALC class is to say they left Paul Quinn College better than they found it.